Blizzard speak, that might mean January. Just warning you now. So here at Blizzcon, we have Hearthstone all over the place. So we have stations where you can play the game on PC, and also if you go to the Intel booth, we have the game on tablet, which you really should go and check out. We also are having a Hearthstone exhibition tournament that includes some popular community personalities like Day9 and Husky and Kriparian. So make sure to check it out tomorrow morning at the tournament stage in Hall B. All right, so I have more good news for all the people here that are Hearthstone fans that are attending BlizzCon. And this is both for people that are here in person and on the virtual ticket. So we have a special card that only attendees are going to receive. So the team had to think for a long time. They really wanted to come up with a special card that really said BlizzCon. So I think they came up with a really great one. So I want to show you guys the Elite Tauren Chieftain. So I'll show you guys more in a second, but I want to explain a little bit like how he plays. You know, the Elite Tauren Chieftain, when you drop him onto the board, you know, he really announces his authority like a rock star. And what will happen is he has 3 different power chord cards that are all they're different and custom, have different effects, and he'll deal 1 to each player. So it's kind of this fun sort of random card. You know, really definitely says BlizzCon. And all the BlizzCon attendees are getting the golden version of the card, which you can kind of see behind me. And I'm going to show you guys what he actually looks like in gameplay too, because the team, they keep on doing more and more golden cards and cool animations, special effects, and every one just seems to be better than the last one that they've done. So I'll show you guys what this one looks like. So if you guys have been playing the beta, you've probably seen a lot of golden cards. You know, we've been adding to them the beta as soon as we can make them, and you know, it's really our intention to have all the cards have a golden version. You know, it's a really fun collectible element. It's really fun getting the cool special effects. But I'm sure, you know, probably it may have occurred to a lot of you that if we have all these golden cards, you know, why aren't we doing golden versions of the heroes themselves? So I'm here to tell you guys today that that's exactly what we're working on. We're working on versions of the golden heroes. So the way that the golden heroes are going to work is you're going to actually earn them in the new ranked play mode. And I'll show you kind of an early version of what their animations are going to look like. So you can see they're going to be fully animated just like the golden cards themselves. And what will happen is in the new ranked play mode that we're creating right now, you'll be able to earn those. And you'll be able to unlock each class one at a time. So with the ranked play mode, you know, we know that a lot of you have really loved the arena mode. And our goal has really been to make a ranked play mode that's just as much fun as arena mode and really makes constructed play really rewarding. So make sure that you come to this hall at 2:15 today and see the design team, because they're going to talk a lot more ranked play mode, golden heroes, and all the other stuff that's coming out in Hearthstone. But, oh yeah, I have actually one more piece of Hearthstone news though. A lot of you guys, I know, have maybe heard about the tablet version but haven't got to see it yet. So at Blizzard, you know, a lot of us actually prefer to play it on tablet. You know, and unfortunately, there's just no easy way to put that out in a beta test. But you know, once you play the tablet version, you know, you can play on the couch. You know, a lot of people at Blizzard, that's what they like to do. But I also know that not everyone actually has tablets. So we want to announce another platform that we're actually working on, which is the iPhone version. What? What? So both the iPhone and the Android version are in development right now at Blizzard. It's still really early on, but we're hoping to have them out probably in the second half of next year. So Hearthstone isn't the only news that's going on in the Warcraft universe. Can you guys actually believe we're going to have a Warcraft movie? Honestly, I can't believe it. We started this thing back in 2006, and that's a long product development schedule even for us. So like Mike mentioned, we're super excited to have the director of the movie out here at Blizzcon, Duncan Jones. So he's going to be here tomorrow. And we also are going to have Bill Westenhofer on the panel also. He's the special effects supervisor, and he's actually an Oscar award-winning special effects supervisor that did Life of Pi and Golden Compass. And more importantly, he's played World of Warcraft all the way from the beginning and has a level 90 character. So, but when I really look at Hearthstone and I think about like the Warcraft movie, it's like just how far we've all come together in this franchise, and all in front of you guys, and it's really humbling. It's hard to believe it, but this month is going to be World of Warcraft's 9th birthday. Personally, I've actually been working on or playing World of Warcraft most of my adult life. And it kind of makes me think back to how I got my start. I think a lot of game designers around my age, my generation, we got our start in a very similar sort of way. We would have our first game design experience actually playing Dungeons & Dragons. And, as a dungeon master, I really learned early on that it's not just about creating experiences for your players. It's really about taking that journey with them and really having, that entertainment experience as a partnership that you really take on together. So I just thought, thinking about those old days and just thinking about World of Warcraft the same way, maybe we could look back on some of the journeys that we've all taken together. So does anyone here know what the first battleground was in World of Warcraft? Well, the thing was, it wasn't actually designed as a battleground. It was in the Hillsbrad foothills. The epic battles between South Shore and Terran Mill. And, I remember back in those days when I was a orc shaman and all I wanted to do was get to my flight master. And just seeing him dead and realize, Alliance scum again. So, another thing that I think really brings back a lot of memories is maybe our first raid together against the Black Dragon in Nixia. And back then, you raided with 40 players. 40 of your closest friends and guildies. It was kind of a mess. And probably the worst thing you would hear in guild chat is more whelps. Or what about, do you guys remember the first time that you could actually go through the Dark Portal? And we really wanted to make that this epic, majestic experience. And for us to be able to go through that together. And it was also the first time that we had flying mounts, and you could actually fly over the lands of Outland. Of course, I think maybe we should have thought a little more carefully about the ramifications in PvP, where we introduced the whole concept of a swooping gank. Sorry about that. All right, so I have another question for you guys. How many of you were there the day on your realm when the gates of Encourage opened? This is like the most epic world event in World of Warcraft history. The only problem was, as game designers, it didn't really occur to us it might not be the right idea to have everyone on a realm go to the exact same place at the same time. And I just want to apologize in front of all of you to our server engineers for not consulting with them first. All right, but last but not least, I think another kind of fun event to talk about was I think that the first pandemic in virtual world history when we introduced Zool Garuk. Who could forget the corrupted blood debuff and trying to go into Ironforge and everything was desolate? I think this might be the only MMO event that has its own Wikipedia entry. But that's the thing though, as developers, like even when we mess up, we're able to kind of create these memories that as a community we share together. And that's one of the things that I love about BlizzCon itself, is that it creates these shared memories, because all of you remember all these memories for yourselves with your guild on your realm, but when you come to BlizzCon, you can talk about how it happened on your server or on your server. And it's something, and we share these experiences just like back in the day with Dungeons & Dragons. And that's like one of my favorite things about BlizzCon, is really getting to meet people that are in the community and players, and really be a player like you guys and be able to talk about these events and share these events. But I actually think my absolute favorite part of BlizzCon is watching all these players within the community that have all these virtual relationships and guilds and friendships. But when you come to BlizzCon, you get to sometimes meet each other for the first time and create lifelong friendships. And I think that's one of the things that's really special about BlizzCon. So on behalf of everyone at Blizzard, I want to thank all of you for letting us be your Dungeon Master all these years. But I don't want you to think that the journey's over yet. So I want to welcome to the stage my creative partner for many, many years to introduce to you the next chapter in World of Warcraft. So please give a huge ovation for Chris Metzen.
And yes, goodness gracious, guys, it is awesome to be back here again with you this year. And I'm going to apologize up front as usual. I'm totally peaked. It is going to be okay. As Rob was saying, it is such an amazing time to be part of this thing called Warcraft. With the feature film and development, it's really good. At long last, with the debut of Hearthstone and all the ongoing development that we're normally doing on the game, oh boy, this is one of those moments. Yeah, geek is forgetting your lines. With all of these things in development, we have been thinking a lot about Warcraft, about what makes it tick. What makes it distinct? What is it about it after all these years, coming up on almost 19 years? We've been working on this thing. What keeps us coming back to it? What keeps it fresh for us? Oh, thank you. We've been thinking a lot about the early days. How many of you were around and with us during the events of Orcs and Humans? Really? All right. Tides of Darkness. And Beyond the Dark Portal. Guys, these original games, like this original trilogy of RTS games, it's where it kind of all comes from. It's where the DNA of Warcraft has always come from. The events of those games, the characters, the storylines, the places they went to really predicate everything that's happening in the modern era of WoW. In many ways, they're kind of like the origin points for your factions. Alliance, you here? Horde, where are you at? Hey, Horde, check it out. Just because you guys went and got yourselves a troll as a new war chief, it doesn't mean I ain't with you. Many miles to go. So as we're thinking about all those moments, all of the adventure that came back in the day, and I love to hear that many of you actually played those games, you kind of stop to consider that there is a huge amount of World of Warcraft players that never lived those events, never met those characters, never really engaged with those storylines or that part of the adventure. And, as we start thinking about where Warcraft goes, what are we doing? What are we working on? How are we pushing forward with this ongoing adventure? A lot of that content sure makes the wheels turn. And ultimately, as many of you probably know, the modern story of Warcraft really begins about 30 years ago. 30 game years. Ain't that old. When some knucklehead decided it would be a really good idea to open a dark portal between Azeroth and this dark, savage world called Draenor. And through that portal came an army of brutal, demon-pumped savages that took the world right to the edge. Led by characters like Red T-shirt guy. Damn it, not him. Led by characters like Blackhand and Kilrog, Ner'zhul, Gul'dan, Hellscream. Some of the baddest dudes ever in the Warcraft franchise. These guys almost had their way. They almost conquered the entirety, then of the Eastern Kingdoms. And boy, if they had, history would have taken a very different turn. If not for the most unlikely thing happening. The races of Azeroth. Humans, we got any humans in the room? It's kind of a weird question to ask. Dwarves, where are you at? Sons of Cosmodan. We don't have any high elves in the room. High elf cosplayers? Couple. Gnomes, where are you at? Come on, we secretly love you. It's complicated. The various cultures of Azeroth, who were never fast friends. There was no love lost between them. They had no common heritage, they had no common history. They really didn't like each other down this stretch of years. But in the face of this onslaught, in response to these badass orc leaders, they came together. And they founded a union based on honor and righteousness and a deep-seated drive to dispense indiscriminate justice upon those who threaten their homelands. This alliance saved the world. Alliance, do you remember who you are? You are the Alliance of Lordaeron, champions of justice. And I love you for it. Damn it, you're the Captain America faction. And I love you for that. So what a trip. All those years, fictional, from then to now. Especially concluding or including the events of the Siege of Orgrimmar. Alliance, do you get it yet? You remain the world's standing superpower. How does that feel? Don't worry, Horde. There is honor to be served. Loktar. So when you think about all that history and all that context, or when we think about it, a really interesting question comes to mind. We asked ourselves, well, what if those dark days could come again? What if a pantheon of the most vicious villains ever in Warcraft could threaten our homes, our lands, our way of life all over again? And in the face of that, Alliance, how would you respond now? There was a few suggestions. Can you guys repeat? I didn't. I know how you'd respond. With righteousness and honor. Weapons primed. The conflict to come, I believe, will be the Alliance's finest hour. The dark days ahead will test you. Your values, your ethics, how do you fight a savage enemy without remorse, without becoming savage yourself? It's a good question. And Horde. Horde, you right? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Much better. Horde, you've taken some lumps lately. And not just from the Alliance. You had to live with the disappointment of Thrall's choices. I'd apologize for him, but we don't speak anymore. You had to live with the consequence of Garrosh's reign of terror. And you had a bunch of gnomes and elves running through the streets of your city. I can't imagine you enjoyed that a lot. But in the face of all that, Horde, under the leadership of Vol'jin, you have a chance. You have a chance at a new start. A chance to redefine yourselves in this brave new world. But as is often true, to forge a brighter future, sometimes you must confront the ghosts of the past. And I believe in the adventure to come, Horde, there will be honor to be served, and there will be asses to be kicked. There will be much heroism for all. So, are you guys ready? Are you with me, Blizzcon? Let's get this thing done. Friends, champions, fellow defenders of Azeroth, Blizzard is proud to present to you the next expansion set for World of Warcraft. We call it Warlords of Draenor!
a legacy of conquest. Rising tide of blood and iron that will wash over this world and all others. Our bond is iron, our will unbreakable. Who will stand against us?
Oh, hell yeah! Right back to the start, kinda. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that announcement. I imagine you have a lot of questions. We have a lot of answers. Don't worry, it all makes sense. So, guys, again, thank you for being here with us this weekend. You'll never know what a thrill this is for us to be here with you and to share these games. Have fun this weekend. Take care of each other, have a blast. And if you have more questions, by the way, about Warlords of Draenor, I just love saying it. We're gonna have a panel at 12:30 on this stage. The dev team is gonna explain the whole giddy up to you. So come back at 12:30 if you're interested. And at the end of the day, welcome to Blizzcon!
Watching Blizzcon 2013, an original DirecTV production since 2008. Level up to DirecTV at directv.com.